Sit back, relax. Try to maintain your composure. You are about to become connected.
Welcome to the Connect podcast. We've got Shane.
Hello, Shane.
Has Shane on today to speak about some interesting topics.
Don't need to face it.
Yeah, I know, because we've got a 360-degree microphone. We lashed out and we got the extra
Make eye
expensive
contact
one.
with the recorder.
I know.
I'll lean in every time I say something.
Sean's got a really loud voice, actually.
That's why I need to fucking
Pipe
sit
down.
further away than everyone else. I know. I sat there before and then tested on a mouse. And anyway, I got a lot of interesting shit to say. So
Yeah, it's fair enough. You should
this cup's annoying me. It feels like it's
blocking the air.
So anyway, how about we start rebuttal? When we spoke about it before.
Why don't we sort of introduce who he is and, like, you know, how do we know him?
Well, I know his name. Do I need to know anything else?
It's amazing that they even know that. Really.
I know, because it's lucky that came out, right?
Well, we met in Chile.
Yeah,
That's enough.
test mate. You go ahead.
I met Shane in Chile while travelling, and that was it, really. We hung out for a bit. Some good chats.
What were you doing in Chile?
So I was.
You know,
I'll just leave. You guys just talk.
no, notice yourself.
No, I was there for a program called Startup Chile, which is a government initiative to bring local entrepreneurs up to global standard by bringing in global entrepreneurs. And basically, I moved there, lived there for 6 months, and they provided $40,000 worth of reimbursements for me to build my own business.
Shit. And what
Pretty
they were
good
doing?
gig.
That's a great gig.
Yeah.
How long were you there for? 6 months.
Yeah, I ended up living there about 7.
7
A bit
months.
early, stayed around a bit longer.
And then what did you start up there?
So I was accepted on a project that I pitched at them called Immortal Outdoors, and my objectives were to crowdsource a map of the entire world's natural environment. So in terms of outdoor recreation. So basically
Right.
every sort of walking trail, campsite, rock climbing crag, canyon, snowboarding, slope, like...
Kenyan snowboarding.
Canyon.
Kenyan.
Kenyan, yeah. Specifies to the black individual from Kenya.
Scuba diving even.
Yeah.
Like every sort of outdoor activity, I wanted to map it all where people do these activities because there is no map of it and there's no central place for it.
Or at least there's no no website with all the different spots on one. Like, It's like either you got a camping website or like skiing
It's
one.
very fractured, and to find the information that you want is actually often challenging.
Yeah.
And particularly if you don't know the name of something,
Yeah.
then you don't know what to look for. It's
Yeah.
a problem with the internet. But I ended up...
Don't know the name of the company or the name of
The trail or
The name of the
trail.
trail, yeah.
Oh, right.
If you don't know the name of the canyon you want to walk through, you've got nothing to work with.
Yeah, that's right.
I was trying to create just like a Google Map overlay, which you could just look at, like you look at Google Maps, and you could browse through Melbourne streets and go, oh, there's a street and it's called this. Like you can discover things that way, which isn't interesting and no one does it. But with outdoor recreation, that same sort of interaction would be amazing.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
they're kind of doing that already with, like, TomToms and GPS systems. They have, like, when you go onto a full driving track and it's not currently in the system, you can put on the new track that you're actually driving on,
yeah, that's
and
cool.
it maps it out.
So
and
it's
says future
crowdsourcing,
people.
like
So how would that be different? Like, is that the same sort of thing? Or is
No, that would be very
more
helpful. That would be really helpful to what I was trying to do. But that's only, again, for four-wheel driving.
It's only for full driving.
So like the police trackers, the radar trackers on the iPhone apps. If you see a radar, you download the app.
Yeah, why don't you include
put
that? Why not?
You see, you add in alligators. So if you go on a walking trail and there's an alligator close, then the next person comes along.
That's a really good idea.
That's silly. Anyway.
Chili.
So that was that. So what happened was the conclusion of your trip in Chile?
Well, I didn't end up working on that. I was work. That's what I pitched and I was accepted on. But
All right,
before I arrived, I managed to get started on another idea that I had, which is basically I identified a problem on the internet which was pissing me off, and I really wanted a solution for it. So I wrote a blog post about
Which is
it.
pretty much how all your ideas come about. It's like, because I
Yeah.
asked him once, how do
Shit
you
that
come up
pisses
with
people off.
ideas? And he goes, well, I just find this stuff wrong and I just want to fix it because it's annoying me personally and I just want it solved for personal gain.
And I've got plenty of these ideas of things I want to fix. Some of them don't get past the idea stage. You know, like most people do that, right? You would go through life and you know what they should do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone does that.
And then someone makes it.
Yeah. Well, but the thing is usually no one makes it.
Yeah.
Because half of the time it's really a terrible idea, probably. The other 49% of the time, it actually takes a lot of work and effort to actually do it. And no one's willing to do that. But, yeah, the good ideas that you see implemented require not just the idea, but like a lot of work after that. So for me, I have, when I have those ideas, I pay attention to them, filter out all the crap ones. The ones that I like, I just talk to people about them. I say, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Get feedback and decide, other people agree with me on this. Okay, why don't I make something and test it, put it out there, see if people react to it.
Yeah, definitely.
And so eventually ideas stick or they don't. And so this idea that ended up taking over from Immortal Outdoors was one which just immediately got lots and lots of positive feedback.
Yeah, right.
And the idea is simply, I couldn't find a rebuttal to an article on the internet. Was the problem. I was looking at an article and I knew it was wrong, and I could have gone and written a blog post outlining all the ways that it was wrong. I just didn't want to. And I knew that someone else had written that sort of an article. Someone else had already rebutted the article that I was reading. I just wanted to find it. I knew it would have been done. I just didn't know how to find it. So I spent hours searching Google trying to find a rebuttal to a single article, and I couldn't. So then I spent a year trying to find software that would do it for me, to find rebuttals. And it didn't exist. So I wrote a blog post saying, I want this software. And that's how I found my partner, and he said he would program it for me, and we started working on it.
So create the software. Well, create the application.
Yeah. And so all it does...
And you've launched that now, and the website's called...
Rebuttal?
R-U-B-T...
R-B-U-T-R.
Yeah, sorry. I was just wondering if I was being to get that.
R-B-U-T-R.com.
Yeah.
And it's just a browser extension, and when you find yourself reading a rebuttal, you can submit it and say, this is a rebuttal, and it's a rebuttal of this page. And then whenever people are browsing the internet and they hit that page, they get an alert that says, this page has been rebutted. And they can click through and read the rebuttal. So it gives you this amazing...
It's a fucking great idea. Yeah.
There's so many... It's such a simple thing. It's like two URLs, this page and that page, and this one rebuts that one. That's all it is.
Link them together in some...
But the outcome of that is to constantly provide access to an opposing perspective, constant reminder to be skeptical of what you're reading, and the ability to follow inter-website discussions.
Yeah.
Because when you read an article which argues for an opinion, whatever that may be, that article sounds like it's the end of the discussion. They've gone, well, if you think of this and this and this, then therefore conclusion this. You're welcome. End of story.
Yeah.
And you have no idea then that there are 1,000 blogs out there that have argued against this. And that maybe 4 or 5 of those blogs have a big readership, and those posts have then got hundreds of rebuttals to them. And you've got like this giant network of discussion happening.
Yeah.
But you don't know any of it.
And you limit yourself to such a small part of it.
Yeah, and you get one perspective on it.
Especially if once you're on the trail of a topic, you kind of find yourself, you only really look into that area as well. You sort of forget, like with the conspiracy, right? If you start getting excited about it, then you're only going to start Googling that particular aspect. You're like, look at all the people who agree, and you forget the fact of that.
You can read 100 different websites and get the impression that everyone on Earth
thinks that. Really, you're just looking in such a small window of the world.
Have you noticed, like, do you as the creator and as the engineer of this have a way, is it sort of just all you've just sort of created the monster and it just does what it does, or do you have a way of getting like feedback on stuff more so than like do you have a way that you can correlate all this information and like you see what is getting Like the sort of the topics that are getting rebutted on the most?
Yeah, both, all of the above.
Yeah, right.
So we've created it, and we will see what happens.
Yeah.
We can't control everything.
No, yeah, sure.
But we do get feedback, and we track things, and we try to react to what our users want and need. And
so you sort of supervise, but at the end of the day, you just need to have people.
But what we supervise is the ability to participate and to use it efficiently and effectively.
Yeah.
But we don't
tell people what to think on.
we don't control the content. It's up to them.
Yeah, definitely not. And that wouldn't be that would be the point. That would go against your idea anyway. How do you try and
this doesn't work unless we have everyone to some extent involved.
Mm-hmm.
So if we only have one side of every argument, then not only does that not, a nicely divided subject would be like evolution and creationism.
Yeah.
People, evolutionists versus creationists, black and white. I don't think anything's ever that way, but let's just put it that way. And if we only got evolutionists in, then not only would it would completely fail to prove evolution. It doesn't prove anything. But the whole point of this is to have creationists reading evolution material.
Exactly.
And evolutionists reading creation
material. Get everyone in the grey area.
So if you only get one side, you only promote one side to a non-existent side.
Right.
And it doesn't help anyone.
They just feed their own ego sort of thing.
Yeah.
But also, do you think about the problems of certain demographics and people with certain opinions on certain topics being restricted from their participation in something like this? Because, like, for example, creationists, it's just probably a dumb thing to say, but they may be a little bit older people, and they may not be as computer literate. Therefore, they wouldn't really go on the internet, wouldn't really accept rebuttal, and wouldn't be part of it. So you wouldn't have that many creationists using those tools that you've given them.
But that's what what is meant to happen is what is meant to happen, because it can only do what. If people are listening and they don't understand, because we haven't touched yet how all this information gets rebutted against, and that's the general public who use the internet, sign up, and they are then allowed to rebut. Like, we haven't even spoken about who actually uses the software yet. You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Well, it might be general knowledge to us, but people might be listening and go, well, who sends these articles to rebut against? You know what I mean? Is there a team of people that go out and do this?
No, it's just general.
It's
anything
just the general
on
public.
the internet.
That's what we have to.
Anything on the internet, you can use.
The users contribute the material.
The users who read the blogs and the users.
And so whether some people may be underrepresented because they have lower presence on the internet.
Yeah. That's what I meant.
I think.
Well put in one sentence.
Fuck you. To some extent, that it'll definitely happen. But I don't see it being a big problem, because the people that are overrepresented may end up putting hundreds of rebuttals to one page, and there may be lots of, but that doesn't make their position any stronger.
Yeah, right.
The ones that are underrepresented, you only need a few people.
It's not quantity versus quality. It's quality.
You only need a few people that know the good arguments to submit them for it to be effective.
Yeah, you're right.
And also, it's just developing a database of all these connections of the discussions. And as the years progress, we will slowly reach a point where we sort of saturate the internet. We map it all, and that's the goal. And so
we map it all, and then we get to a point where we have a website.
We can resolve some topics.
There's a website. We get to a point where there is one website called fact.com or something, and every single thing on it, because everything's been rebutted for so long, is completely and utterly fucking true, and there's no two fucking ways about it.
Cool. We've decided that we actually think this is the way it is now.
Because that's a fucking problem. It's like, what's true and what isn't. Yeah. I read in newspapers, but fucking bullshit, you know what I mean? Nothing is true unless you do so much, work on it. That is
to find a position to take. And I do believe in a universe where there are facts. And the universe is a real entity with real truths. Yeah. But I do think our attempt to understand them is flawed as humans. And that's why rebuttal is not about finding the truth or finding the answer. It's about discussing our understanding of these truths. Because that's the best that we can do.
Yeah. So it's kind of like this theory of what is real is what is generally agreed upon that is real. Sort of
to some extent, that's what it comes down to. And the thing is when the problem arises when some people are basically it's more ignorant about a subject than someone else, and so they say, well, I think this based on my complete lack of knowledge about it, and then someone who has studied the whole life doing it goes, no, it's like this, and then you get so many of the